In the decaying heart of an ancient city, long abandoned by civilization, hidden beneath layers of stone and secrets, a forgotten cult gathered in the depths of this subterranean chamber. Few knew of the city's existence, and fewer still dared to seek it out. The cult, known as the Circle of the Watchers, had waited centuries for this moment, the return of their gods from the stars beyond. Elias Folk, an archaeologist driven by lust for the unknown, had uncovered the circle's existence by accident. His research led him to texts that shouldn't have existed, whispered tales of beings that had come to Earth long before humanity ever crawled from the primordial ooze. These gods had gifted mankind its early civilizations only to vanish without a trace, leaving their followers to fade into myth. But some still believed, and some still waited. Folk's search brought him to the city of Corinth, where the circle gathered under the moonless sky. He followed them through twisting tunnels, ancient stone paths crumbling beneath his feet, until they reached the chamber. At the center stood a stone dais, upon which lay an artifact unlike anything he had ever seen, a grotesque orb pulsing faintly with an eerie green light, veins of black tendrils writhing beneath its surface. The cult knelt in silence, chanting in a language folk did not understand, but instinctively knew was not of this world. He watched from the shadows, heart pounding, as the leader raised his arms and began the final incantation. The air grew thick, vibrating with a low hum, as if the very fabric of reality was being pulled apart. Folk felt an unnatural pressure building in his skull, the sensation of something immense staring just beyond the veil of existence. As the chant reached its crescendo, the orb began to glow brighter, casting sickly light over the chamber. The walls seemed to breathe, the carvings upon them shifting, as if alive. Then, without warning, the air split open, a tear in reality, through which folk saw them, the Watchers. They were not gods, not in the way humanity had ever conceived. They were ancient beings, older than time itself, vast and incomprehensible, their forms twisted in and out of perception, their many eyes gleaming with cold, indifferent intelligence. They were the architects of the universe, of worlds and species that came before humanity, before Earth. Mankind was nothing more than an experiment, a fleeting distraction in their endless existence. The cult leader stood transfixed, as if waiting divine blessing. But as the Watchers moved, folk saw the truth. The cult was nothing but a tool. The circle had been waiting not for ascension, but for consumption. The Watchers reached through the tear, their tendrils of shadow and light stretching across the chamber. The cultists began to scream, as their bodies warped and twisted, bones snapping and flesh unraveling. They weren't being killed, they were being absorbed, reclaimed by the very beings they worshipped. Their screams echoed through the chamber, a terrible harmony with the chant that had once summoned their gods. Folk ran, the tunnels seemed to stretch endlessly as the walls whispered, reaching out with invisible hands. He felt the Watchers in his mind now, brushing against his thoughts, cold and calculating. They had been here all along, beneath the surface, beneath human history, watching, waiting. As he emerged into the night air, Folk looked back at the entrance to the city, but the stars above seemed wrong. They had shifted, no longer in familiar constellations, but aligned in patterns that spoke of something vast and ancient, something far older than the earth itself. He realized then that there would be no escape. The Watchers had returned, and soon, all of humanity would be drawn into the abyss, just as the Sacred had been.